Everything's going. So, this is another video directed at Propagandabuster. Propagandabuster replied to the video I made addressing him, and I'd like to thank him for his reply. I'd like to thank him for his kindness, his civility, and show of maturity in his responses. It is a nice break from the normal comments I do receive from people who disagree with me, of which usually are just nothing more than name-calling, ad hominem attacks, and slurs. So it's nice to actually talk to somebody who doesn't have to resort to name-calling and childlike bullshit. I call it for what it is, and it's bullshit. I'm sorry if you're offended by swearing, but anyway. Under your first comment in the answer section, I just want to read off what you wrote, and ask you a few more questions, really. And feel free again to respond to this round of questions in a video response if you want to, PM, or like you did, just reply to it in the comment section below the video. It's your choice. Anyway, your first line under the answers section of your first question, my definition of a girly man is a coward. Okay, that's cool, and that's your opinion. So, and everyone has their own opinion, which leads me to ask you just a question on, because people, especially today, define words in a manner that isn't really in line with the definition of the word. So everyone has their own idea of what a coward is and how they would label someone. So my question is, what's your personal definition of a coward, or cowardly, or cowardice, and of those people who would fit your interpretation of those words? What would or who would that be? Your second line is, do I support environmentalists? 21st century environmentalists? No. Okay, and you give somewhat of a reason for that actually on your fourth line. I'm assuming that that would also apply to environmentalists, but if I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me on that. But I'm going to assume, based upon your answer to number 4, that it would probably also apply to number 2. The fourth line is replying to my question, in which I addressed to you about animal rights, and you and how do you view animal rights? And you said current animal rights are in essence anti-capitalist. I am a capitalist. So would you also keep that sentiment towards environmentalists, or would it be different? And if so, why? And based on what? Number 3, do I oppose all environmentalist groups? Too general a question. Okay, well, I'll make it more specific. Groups such as Earth First, such as, well, you know what I'll do? I'll in the description I'll list groups of environmentalist organizations, affinity groups, and that way, if you want to, you can do some research, and then you can form an opinion, and then get back to me at whatever point you feel ready, or at whatever point in which you think you have gathered enough information to come to a conclusion of where you stand. Because I could list like 50 right now, but that'd make this video pretty long, I think. Anyway, so I'll in the description I'll leave you a list of environmentalist groups. Number 4, how do I view animal rights? I've already addressed that, but I'll go over it again. He says current animal rights are in essence anti-capitalist. I am a capitalist. You are right, Propagandabuster. There are certain animal rights organizations that are openly anti-capitalist and anarchist, somewhat in nature. but not all are, and the ones that are anti-capitalist and anarchist in nature tend to be the most militant. They believe more in direct action and directly liberating animals from the imprisoned environments in which they live. Um, those elements are often underground and are even, not even supported by those in the pacifistic elements of the animal rights movement. Um, and again, I would say that yes, there is an anti-capitalist element within the animal rights movement. However, to say that all animal rights activist organizations that operate in the U.S. are anti-capitalist would be somewhat off and somewhat of a assumption of I don't want to call it prematurity, but in a sense it is, because not all are. And like the Animal Liberation Front, the ALF, is anti-capitalist. They do present themselves, and somewhat, if you read their literature, as being anti-capitalist. But even that's open to what's one's personal interpretation and means of what would qualify someone as being an anti-capitalist. Anyway, I think I've rambled on enough. I'll just read the rest of what you said. I gave your video a thumbs up and thank you for your civility. No problem. I find it a complete waste of time to make good videos, just, name calling and using ad hominem attacks and behaving like a child. I just think it's an utter waste of time, and it only hinders your message and your movements and your credibility, in my opinion. My video, Sea Shepherd Terms of Endearment, explains the terms I use in reference to Sea Shepherd. I will have to check that out. Thank you for letting me know that. Your second one says, oops, you did disable, thumbs up, thumbs down. Well, at least I tried. Thank you. Sadly I do disable those because most of the time my videos attract people that disagree with me, and sadly, oftentimes, certain videos which I've posted have seemingly come under either like a thumb down campaign or something. I mean, it's just weird, so it's easier just to disable ratings and be done with it. So I choose just to disable them. On most videos, they are disabled. If you disagree with me, I'd rather have you leave a comment explaining why than just simply clicking a thumbs down and then not leaving an expression or an opinion of why you disagree and so forth.